This is Akashvani in the program Spotlight on Good Governance Day. Now we bring you an exclusive interview with Secretary of Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, V.Srinivas. Interviewer is S. Rangabhashyam, anchor.
Mr. Srinivas, a warm welcome to the program. Sir, to begin with, let's start off with the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on this occasion of the Sushaasan Saptah or the Good Governance Week. The government is observing this week from the 19th to the 25th of December. Tell us about the vision of the Prime Minister.
Honorable Prime Minister has in his message conveyed his greetings and good wishes to all countrymen on the occasion of the third Sushaasan Saptah, the Good Governance Week, which is being observed from 19th to 25th of December 2023. 25th December is observed as the Good Governance Day to commemorate the achievements of Bharat Ratna, late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, our Honorable former Prime Minister. In his message to the nation, the Honorable Prime Minister has said that in the Amritkal period, we are guided by the principles of Panch Pran, and many of these principles are directly relevant to good governance. The first principle is to become a developed nation by 2047, which should be the guiding light in every policy or procedural decision. Further, he has said that the most vital element of good governance is simplification of procedures and practices within government to make them more citizen-centric and people-friendly. India has taken strides in empowering people through digital transformation and timely policy interventions. The Honorable Prime Minister has further said that we will soon be the world's third largest economy, and good governance is crucial to continue the journey towards a higher growth trajectory. The years till 2047 are an opportunity to realize the vision of building a strong, inclusive and developed India. For India, yehi samay hai, sahi samay hai. History provides every country a period as an opportunity when it can make massive progress in its developmental journey. Good governance will help India convert potential into performance.
About the ministry's activities, tell us what all activities is the ministry undertaking to achieve this.
As part of the third Sushaasan Saptah 2023, several activities have been initiated by the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, a workshop on the Special Campaign 3.0 with focus on institutionalizing Swachhata and reducing pendency in government, the initiative for increasing efficiency in decision making in the Central Secretariat, the reforms that are undertaken in the state governments, and consultations on national capacity building plans were all taken up as part of a 5-hour workshop on December 19th, 2023. On December 20th, the pre-retirement counseling workshop was convened in which officers who were retiring up to the months of March 2024 were invited and briefed on preparations for their retirement. Thereafter, a direct Facebook Live discussion was held with citizens and common service centers at village level to guide them on effective redressal of public grievances.
Let's talk about this particular phrase, which even the Prime Minister has, emphasized many a times, of maximum governance and minimum government.
Maximum governance, minimum government is the policy maxim of the Government of India, which has been adopted to simplify procedures, adopt technology to bring citizens and government closer. As part of this initiative, a saturation of the unified services delivery through e-portals has been pursued, and I am happy to inform you that India currently offers over 16,000 services as e-services. We have reached over 75% of the saturation level of the total number of services being offered as e-services. Jammu and Kashmir tops the number of e-services that are being provided in the country with 1,075 e-services, followed by Kerala's e-Sevanam, then Assam's Seva Setu, Orissa One, Uttar Pradesh has the e-District portal, Rajasthan the e-Mitra portal, Karnataka the Seva Sindhu portal, each of these offering more than 750 services online. The effort is to completely saturate the nation's landscape with e-services so that the timelines of interaction between citizens and government can be reduced and there is transparency and timely decision making that is possible.
Srinivas ji, we have actually stepped into the Amrit Kal, the 25-year period leading up to 2047, where we see ourselves as a developed nation and a country. So as far as good governance is concerned, Sushasan, that's very important to achieve that objective of being a developed country by 2047. Don't you think here the Prime Minister has, very clearly articulated and emphasized the need for good governance?
The Honorable Prime Minister has laid down a vision India at 2047, which represents a comprehensive roadmap for achieving a developed nation status and the benefits that good governance can have in expediting this journey. As part of these efforts, one of the biggest challenges was to simplify policies as also to simplify procedures and bring in digitally transformed institutions. One of the biggest manifestations of the maximum governance, minimum government policy is a digitally empowered citizen and a digitally transformed institution. As step in this direction, several digital portals and platforms have been created. The CPGrams today represents one of the largest portals of the country for effective redressal of public grievances. In a similar manner, the replication of good governance practices is being taken up through vast dissemination efforts like the regional conferences on good governance being held in various parts of the country, in which top administrators, district collectors exchange views on how dissemination of good governance practices can be held. As part of the Sushasan Saptah, a number of evaluation reports as also annual reports were released for dissemination. The annual report on CPGrams for the year 2023, the evaluation report of the Special Campaign 3.0, as also booklet on the journey of 25 regional conferences was released, along with the e-office analytics dashboard, which enables an effective monitoring and real-time data analysis of the e-office platform, was also released on this occasion.
Srinivas, I'm sure our listeners would recall way back in 2014 from the ramparts of the Red Fort, the Prime Minister announced this thing that the government would be doing away with this colonial era practice of getting a copy of a document attested by a gazetted officer, and from then on it would be only self-attestation. So at the same time, there is no laxity, the responsibility is being fixed, and ease of submitting documents is done. Don't you think this was a big step, because we have been continuing this step for so many decades now?
One of the big messages the Honorable Prime Minister has given is to remove the colonial remnants from governance. As part of this, a number of procedural transformations have been adopted, and one of the reforms was self-attestation being actually recognized. It has done away with the necessity of going or visiting several offices or notary publics to get documents attested. That was a simplistic step which brought in a vast transformation in the governance landscape. Similarly, we've had a number of acts and rules which have been repealed, which were of colonial legacy. One of the most important legislations that have been promulgated by the Parliament of India is the 3 criminal laws that were promulgated in the winter session of Parliament.
Pensioners as such is a major stakeholder for your department and ministry. A lot of reforms have taken place in the last couple of years, like getting the life certificate using electronic mode. And now we believe that the latest thing is face recognition. How successful has that been?
One of the big transformative steps has been the digital empowerment of citizens, as also the digital empowerment of pensioners. As part of the government's efforts for digital empowerment of pensioners, the digital life certificate was introduced in the year 2014, and this was the Jeevan Praman. Every pensioner has to give a certificate of existence in the period between November 1 to November 30 for continuation of his pension. This can be given either in physical form or in a digital format. Efforts have been made to ensure that large number of pensioners submit their life certificate in digital format. In the year 2021, the face authentication technique was introduced into the digital life certificate, which is entirely based on Aadhaar seeding. So today, you need not visit a bank, or you can actually submit a life certificate from your residence by downloading the Jeevan Praman app with face authentication. Under the Digital Life Certificate campaign that was held from November 1 to November 30, 2023, 1.17 crore pensioners have submitted digital life certificates. This significantly large number also has 38 lakh pensioners submitting their life certificates using the face authentication technique. So this is a very vast number in which the face authentication technique has been adopted by a large proportion of the pensioners. Under the Digital Life Certificate campaign, 1.17 crore pensioners have submitted their life certificates as digital life certificates. Of these 1.17 crores, 19 lakh pensioners have submitted their life certificates as face authentication technique. The central government pensioners, 38 lakh pensioners have submitted their life certificates under Jeevan Praman using the DLCs, and 10 lakh pensioners have submitted using the face authentication technique. The digital empowerment of pensioners has witnessed considerable momentum, with many pensioners adopting this new technology, and I'm sure in the coming days we would have more and more pensioners adopting the face authentication technique in the period between November 1 to November 30th to ensure that their life certificates are submitted.
Srinivas ji, let's also talk about the physical cleanliness and swachhata, which is also one of the major activities undertaken by the department. I believe a good amount, a substantial amount of more than 1,000 crore rupees has been realized by just selling off scrap and waste material.
Government has introduced the special campaigns as a means to institutionalize Swachhata and minimize pendency in government. Special campaigns have been held in the years 2021, 2022 and 2023. The special campaign of 2023 was conducted on a saturation approach to cover every field formation, defense establishments, public sector undertakings, as also overseas missions and posts. 2.59 lakh office spaces were covered under Special Campaign 3.0, and the revenue earnings from disposal of office scrap were quite substantial, amounting to 556 crores. Cumulatively, over the last 3 years, the impact of the special campaigns has been significant, with over 1,162 crores of revenue being earned, 4.04 lakh office spaces being covered. More than 96 lakh files have been weeded out, and 355 lakh square feet of office space has been freed.
That's quite substantial. Srinivas, let's also talk about the amendment which has been made, although it's a small step but with big impact. The Prevention of Corruption Act of 1988, that has been amended to include bribe givers also as criminals and culpable. So that probably will go a long way in cleaning up our system.
A zero tolerance approach to corruption has necessitated strengthening of several of our acts, particularly the Prevention of Corruption Act, the establishment of the institution of Lokpal, the strengthening of preventive vigilance through celebration of preventive vigilance weeks, and some of the significant amendments that were brought about into the Prevention of Corruption Act entail the amendment to ensure that the bribe giver is also equally culpable of the offence as compared to the bribe taker.
Let's also talk about e-governance, e-filing and e-tracking. Without exception, almost all the ministries and departments have adopted e-file system and tracking system helped by NIC. They have helped in implementation of all this. To what extent would you say that kind of a paperless office now, although we do have physical files, but the ease of tracking a file, of taking forward a note sheet, all that has become much easier?
One of the biggest transformations that the Central Secretariat has witnessed has been the adoption of e-office. We have witnessed a linear growth in terms of the e-office systems, in that the number of e-files that have been created have grown to over 32 lakhs. Today, over 90% of the new files being created in the Central Secretariat are largely e-files. Similarly, all receipts, almost 100% receipts, are being processed as e-receipts. The e-office analytics dashboard also monitors the average distinct levels through which files are moving, and the e-office system provides for monitoring the interministerial movement of files. Today, not only do you have the offices on e-office system, that is e-files, we also have receipts on the e-office system and interministerial movement of files, the distinct levels in terms of the delayering of the Central Secretariat, which are monitored on the e-office system, and all these were released through the e-office analytics dashboard that was launched by the government on 19th of December 2023.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
On Good Governance Day, You were listening to a discussion on an exclusive interview with Secretary of Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, V.Srinivas. The interviewer was S. Rangabhashyam, anchor. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
समाचार सेवा प्रभाग से प्रस्तुत है हमारा साप्ताहिक कार्यक्रम